So who died last week is the important question.
It was like Barbara Walters.
She's one of those people that you just kind of like.
Someone else that was like cool.
And
then like another random person that was like, oh, they're dead now.
David, who died last week?
Andrew Callahan's
career. Yikes. Yowza.
Pope
feel like
Benedict,
Pope
Walters,
Benny B. Pele.
Westwood, Franco Harris.
That's what it was.
Boss, Kirstie Alley, Bob McGrath.
All last week? Kirstie Alley died before
Kirstie Alley died. No, it was Pele, Vivian Westwood, and Barbara Streisand.
Who's Vivian Westwood?
And Barbara Walters. She was like that punk like fashion designer.
As you can tell, I don't have a fashion sense, so I don't know about that.
I didn't know who she was either.
I don't know about
and
that.
I'm supposedly the fashion guy, but...
You're supposedly the fashion guy.
I was a character, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry to tell you guys, I was a fucking character.
Yes, we're people.
I'm just a normal fucking dude.
So,
with a big ass dick.
That's true. Everyone at my job, like, they all work in, like, CG. So, like... I have to kind of be careful about talking shit about certain movies because like sometimes they've like worked on them.
Yeah.
And they're incapable of like recognizing that you can do good work on a shitty movie.
Yeah.
And it's like
totally.
Like I was talking shit about Black Adam. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, well it's on HBO. So it's like, you know, I'm not paying for these movies. But got real stoned, put on Black Adam, and it's like it takes place in a fictional Middle Eastern New York, basically. It's bizarre.
It's just a bunch of Persians walking around New York.
Yeah. But it's like they're trying. It's like attempting to be.
It only takes place in the bodegas.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. The Aki way. Aki's in it. General Ak is the main star. I want to meet him one day. Ask him to make.
He did a chopped cheese pop up in LA not that long ago. Yeah.
I bet you it's like fine.
Just sure.
Put it on the grill.
There's I feel like every time I see one of his TikToks now, he's like, would you fucking mind opening the can while I'm talking?
So sorry. It's just bubbly water.
every time he posts a new video, you can just see like his enthusiasm dwindling about having to make like the most disgusting food every day. Like you'll see every now and then like the recording and he's like just looking at the guy like, and then realizes he's recording. He goes and like goes into character and I'm like, dude, he is fucking so done with this shit, dude. He's just like,
he's like, I'm still working.
How can I help you? And it's just like, oh, God.
Can I get the worst fucking thing?
Yeah.
Mixed with the gross thing.
I know like most of us are like trapped in time loops, but he's in an especially fucked time loop.
Like a long time ago, I was outside my rehearsal space and I was walking by 7-Eleven. And like, you know, kind of what we were saying, like, you know, you look at people and maybe that's us projecting our own fears of being in a situation where you do one thing and then you're stuck doing it until you fucking kill yourself.
Yeah.
But I was walking by 7-Eleven and I saw a guy like, you know, they have like the you can eat there area
at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, they have a thing like a shell, like
what?
a
picnic area.
Well, they're not like a picnic area, but like, you know, there's like a there should be bar stools.
They have like
there.
the LA alfresco or whatever.
Kind of, yeah, but it's like inside
on the sidewalk in front of the 7-Eleven.
And I see this guy
covered in piss.
Oh no, it's just it's like on the inside. This guy's just like eating a full 7-Eleven pizza. And I remember like projecting my own bullshit onto it, and I was just like, man, this guy, like, I feel so bad that like, because the thing was, he was in the facial expression he was making, like it made me be like, I was like, is this the best part of this guy's day? Because he was so enthusiastically eating a 7-Eleven pizza. And like, you know, I understand, like, you know, I'm not trying to shame people who like 7-Eleven pizza, but I am. Like, I don't know, I'm sure there's better.
I've had a slice.
It looks like
Little Caesars is better.
Yeah, it looks like
it's the same price.
Like elementary or middle school pizza. Like, you know, when the cheese has that like it's
wax.
So white.
It's a wax cheese.
You're like it's just waxy. Heated enough to not be raw.
Yeah.
And he's eating that, and I remember like just seeing this guy eat this pizza, like just every bite, like, you know, enjoying it, and I like got sad watching him eat it, and
I feel so bad for this guy enjoying this.
Yeah, I know.
Pizza.
It's like, and that just shows like maybe I'm about to soul search a little more.
You're so above someone eating a fucking 7-Eleven pizza.
It sounds pretentious, but I like my mom called me later that night. And she was like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Oh man, I just was really affected by this thing I saw," and I explained to her what I saw.
Talk to your mom about it.
Yeah, I did. I felt like obliged to, and she after I told her, I was like, "Yeah, I just felt so bad that like we live in a world where this is this guy's best part of his day is like," and this is like, I forgot where my rehearsal space was, but it was fucking like, you'd get out of there and there would be a guy taking a shit. So it's like not the greatest.
You would walk in on the guy taking a shit?
I think I'd walk out on him taking a shit. There was no, the doors are to the outside world where he's deciding to take a shit. And, it'd always be like, "You got a cigarette?" And you're like, "You want toilet paper?" I don't know. But, I tell my mom the whole story and she goes, "Julian, like, maybe that guy is married and hates his wife. And this is actually," and I was like, "Damn, what the fuck?" Like, so I guess it's more
That's
of like
a good script there.
Yeah, just like, I think I was just putting myself in his position where I was like, if I had to eat a 7-Eleven pizza for dinner, I would be depressed and sad.
He's probably stoked.
Yeah.
But think about like, what was the best part of your day that day?
Well, that's what that's what made me start
someone
thinking.
else think?
Yeah,
They think like, God, how fucking sad.
Well, the thing is, I remember
cooking tofu
no,
and
it's
just
not, dude, I was
watching Phantom of the Opera.
Hey, that was pre-Phantom.
Friday night.
This was pre-Phantom Julian. Okay, this is before I was like enlightened. I think what I would at that era, I would go straight from work to the rehearsal space, and I was so like underslept. I'd usually get there and I would like work on music for like 20 minutes, and then I would literally take a nap on the floor.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like judging this guy. I'm sleeping on the floor of a disgusting fucking rehearsal space alone.
Which rehearsal space?
The one in
was it the one where we recorded the Rumble Pack stuff?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I took a nap.
Okay,
I would take naps on that floor.
That's especially disgusting place to lay on the floor.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like we had a vacuum. Okay, we vacuumed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm judging a guy for eating a pizza. I'm fucking taking like a 45-minute nap on a hard, disgusting floor in a rehearsal space all alone.
In South Central.
In South Central. Like just like being like, am I an artist? I don't know.
Not until you lay on this floor.
Yeah. So, I think that guy won. He's winning.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home to probably my place and I don't know, play Rocket League when I got home, and then wake up the next morning completely with lack of sleep again, and then repeat it. And this guy, he's got to figure it out. He's actually enjoying his life.
He's having such a good time eating this delicious pizza.
Yeah, and it's like,
which for us is not delicious, but
yeah.
For him, it's
for
delicious.
him. It was. I mean, maybe maybe my mom was right. Maybe his wife
blessing.
is horrible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
or like, what if his life is great? He's like totally fine.
Yeah,
he's just like, I'm a really simple guy.
Yeah,
I'm very easily pleased.
Yeah,
this 7-Eleven pizza is the best thing I've ever had,
and that's why I know I was projecting my own bullshit because I'm like unsatisfied with or dissatisfied with my own life.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was talking about. That I think I'm just ruminating on my own life because. On Sunday, I wake up and I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and I was planning on seeing. I got that Stubbs Pass thing, so I was planning on seeing like all the movies I hadn't seen, but like in one day, like a marathon. So I wake up and I'm like, I got my schedule planned. I'm about to sit in a movie theater for like 7 hours, and I get out there and I get into my Prius and I start it, and it sounds like a fucking lawnmower, and it reeks of exhaust.
Yeah,
and. That's when I knew my catalytic converter was stolen.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I try really hard to be namaste as much as possible. I think I have high blood pressure. But I wanted to fucking kick a door when I got inside, but I was like, this is my house. I love my housemates. I don't want to ruin their house. So instead I talked to my dad and I was like, help me with insurance, please help me. Daddy, help me.
My catalytic converter
is stolen. And basically I'm calling Midas Auto Parts, and this guy Jeff there, he was helping me out, but when I call him, I'm like, hey Jeff, I'm fucked. I need your help. And he starts almost getting political. Like, when you're just like, hey, I need my car fixed.
I just need a fucking converter. I'm not trying to have a discussion.
No, exactly. And he even preface it with, he's like, I don't want to get too political.
Okay, then don't. How about don't?
You don't have to.
How about just sell me a fucking catalytic converter?
Exactly. So he starts saying
that hard.
And it's like that kind of like feigned, like, I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page of like, I am not a fan of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about that guy.
Most people aren't.
Yeah, no one is.
But it depends on how much you aren't, I guess. This is where like the real divide is, where it's like, I spend every waking moment of my life thinking about how much I hate Joe Biden.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, think about...
Because he's murdering America.
It's like, bro, America's murdering America.
Yeah, I'm he's an old fucking fart.
What do you think his farts smell like? You think they're...
Dust.
Just pure, just
like...
Antiques.
Like, like when you go into like, you're like cleaning out a garage.
Yeah.
You find an old book. Dusty book, and you like open it up, and that like smell, just that like old book smell,
his ass smells like an old
dusty
book.
library. That's that's probably what his farts fucking smell like.
And he's like, "That was a big one, Jill." But so Jeff starts saying, "Well, I was like, well, how do I get? I assume I have to go aftermarket because these are apparently super expensive, and like Toyota and Honda both say there's no ETA." On getting a factory catalytic converter.
Because they get stolen all the fucking time.
Yeah, it turns out it's because they, there's a little for everybody out there. From 97 to 2015, if you have a Honda or a Toyota, you might want to get an anti-theft cage on your shit because it's super easy to steal. They steal in 30 seconds.
They're just going with the Sawzall.
Yeah, they just exactly easy peasy.
Done. Yeah.
And it's full of, I think, platinum is what they used to put in them.
Yeah, platinum and gold, right?
And platinum is, I was looking it up. You get like if anyone else is trying to have a side hustle,
catalytic converters, a lot of good money in that.
Yeah, straight up, because I think platinum goes for like $1,000 an ounce right now.
Jesus.
And I'm pretty sure that, I'm buying aftermarket converters.
You're buying a stolen converter.
So I'm pretty sure I'm buying a stolen one. So it's like this weird.
It's probably gonna be the same one.
I might have bought my own
back, converter back.
And he starts going, well, the current, with our current government. It's like, what? It's been the same fucking government, dude. It's all the same bullshit.
Gavin Newsom's actually paying. He's actually paying them to go out and steal catalytic converters.
I'm like talking to the insurance guy. I was like, hey, like, so you're telling me this shit happens all the time and no one's surprised that it was stolen. And you're telling me like this is happening more and more frequently.
Pretty much everyone I know with a Prius has gotten their
catalytic me too. And now it's like I look at myself in the mirror and I see the truth. And I was like, so can you guys cover the anti-theft cage? Because you're telling me this is gonna happen again if I don't get it. And he goes, well, we don't do anything preventative, but we'd be more than happy to pay for it again if it happens. How is that a business? How do insurance companies like operate? It's like,
I don't know.
If they spend $500, like money's fake. The world is a lie.
Yeah.
7-Eleven pizza is good.
World is a fuck.
I'm the depressed one, not the guy in the 7-Eleven. I'm sleeping on a fucking disgusting floor, fucking wiping.
The Matrix is real.
Dude, oh God.
And if you're not careful, it'll come for you too.
Also, isn't that the fucking lamest way of saying, like, what does he mean to say when he says Matrix? Like, what's the actual word? Because he's too stupid to fucking know the word, right? Like, he's saying like the Illuminati. Isn't that what he's mainly going for?
I don't know.
But he calls it the Matrix.
Well, this was Logan Paul tweeted about the Matrix today.
But he's just quoting Mr. Tate.
Yeah.
Also, if you're into that shit, you're a fucking loser. Like,
yeah,
just
it's
on
the most
every
limp
level.
dick shit I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
It's really funny to me when like they're all like, oh, we need alpha males back, and they all just like fucking slobbing on
why do you need
this guy's cock all fucking day, just like glok, 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 glok.
Why do you?
And it's like, that's alpha male behavior to you?
Yeah, well, I think
being on Twitter all day defending another adult man
hanging out shirtless.
that's alpha male to you?
Defending men who are fucked up.
Like, I'm
It's
not
weird.
like shouldn't, if you're like an alpha male, shouldn't you like not even be on Twitter?
Yes.
You should be spending your time like hunting
Yeah, like
or some shit, like
stealing catalytic converters.
not caring
I don't
about
know.
other adult men's problems.
That the weirdest
You
thing
know,
is
like-
like to be from any. I think like anyone who thinks that they have it figured out
Yeah.
is someone to be weary of.
I mean, I've got it figured out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I trust you and I'll suck your cock later, so it's okay. But you know, it's like,
But
yeah.
I'm not gonna preach
Yeah.
about it.
Well, it's just so weird.
Got to figure it out for
yeah.
me.
It's also,
You know, figure your
it's-
own shit out.
It's so tropey.
Did you watch Avatar,
No.
the first one?
Oh, yes.
What do you think about it?
Okay, I was gonna see it last Sunday.
Out of 5 stars.
Out of 5 stars.
the first one. yeah.
Okay, I would say 2 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's a solid 2 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
I
I
think-
was like, oh, pretty impressive. All the like CG stuff they did.
Yeah.
You know,
But do you?
the story though, I'm like, okay, so let me get this right. This guy shows up.
Jake Sully,
Jake Sully shows up.
you must go.
And is like, okay, I'm gonna go infiltrate these people and get their home burned down. This giant
Well, he's
tree,
just doing it for
their
legs.
entire village.
I just watched it recently, so he's just doing
He's
it for
just
legs.
doing it for legs
Yeah,
too.
he's just doing it for
because he wants
legs.
his legs back.
Wants
So
his
he's gonna
legs back.
fucking
Yeah.
genocide these people. Ends up liking them. Changes his
But
mind.
only
halfway
because-
through. But still burns their fucking entire village down. Gets a shit ton of them killed.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck off. And he's like, no, I will not fuck off. I am one of you now. And like comes back, gathers everyone, sends them to war,
Yeah.
and then gets even more of them killed.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right, you're our leader now. Like, we love you.
That
and
is
it's like,
the weird. Yeah. Didn't.
what the fuck? I was
Isn't
like, he
he-
got so many people unnecessarily killed in that movie.
I don't remember the name of.
and he still gets to be the good guy. It was-
Zoe Saldana's character, but I know that he directly leads to her father being killed,
Yeah.
and then
Like the leader, like their
Yeah.
chief
Yeah, the
gets
chief.
fucking murdered. And then like the other, like all the leaders of that
Yeah.
village get just absolutely obliterated.
So
And then he just steps in and is like, I'm your new guy.
I mean, you've basically described the movie,
yeah.
and it's not. I think my issue with it is it's more as unoriginal as it is. Because it
Yeah.
is incredibly unoriginal. It's like Fern Gully. I'm sure it's
just like
ripping off like
Pocahontas.
Well, I think it's like some Miyazaki film or something.
Yeah.
It's it's not new in any way, and it except for like I guess like he's so into the technology, so he spends so much time doing it. And I used to know, I used to work with somebody whose husband was like specifically in charge of turning movies into like finding the point of reference in movies so your eyes will like you won't get nauseous during 3D films.
Whoa.
And like he was not didn't seem like he was too into it. And I think my main issue with it is like, okay, let's go through Cameron's career. Okay, this man fucking kills it.
Made the Titanic.
I think he kills it up until Avatar. I don't really like Titanic. I like obviously the
What
destruction.
else has he even
of-
done?
Okay,
I don't know.
Terminator.
That was James Cameron?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking
Obviously
he's,
great.
He's
Yeah.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Terminator 2,
Great.
which
also.
I watched recently, holds up,
Yeah.
is so fucking cool.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, dude, it's so fucking. You're watching, you're like, this shit is great. Everyone's like at a full 10. Like everyone's
Yeah.
energy is like Sarah Connor. She comes in and she's just like fucking crazy. Like she, and that's the her whole character's supposed to be crazy. Like
Yeah.
he actually developed these characters in a way that, like, there was character development. It's kind of like between the two films. Then he did The Abyss. I haven't seen it, but it's about water. So I guess that's when he got a.
He's really into water.
This is, I think.
Isn't the new Avatar like all
that's
underwater?
yeah, and he like figured out some way to like
To go underwater?
to film shit, and like everyone had to learn how to hold their fucking breath or whatever the fuck. And
What?
yeah, it's
It's
dumb.
not, isn't it all just 3D?
Yeah, the actual I don't know. I think it's a mix. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't. Yeah, I was gonna see it.
I'm
I
probably
could
not gonna see it.
Well, you know, I feel like if you're gonna see it, you have to see it in theaters because it's gonna
like
be
rewatching that first one. I was like, I really don't want to see the second one.
Well, it's just like the okay. Let's like
what's gonna happen? What
they just look.
And there's like 5 more coming out.
That's dumb.
It's like a whole saga.
It's weird.
And I'm like, why?
Because
like, why did they sign him on for like so many more of these movies? I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, the thing that's
remember when the first one came out, it was like such a big deal.
Well, it's like, okay, the one thing about that is having rewatched the first one recently.
This is the graphics, right?
Well, yeah, it's the graphics or
he had like PS5 graphics.
Yeah, it was like he's a PS5
in like 2008.
Exactly, yeah. Like I think 2008, 2009 or something like that. But it's just so uninteresting. Like the characters aren't like there's nothing. I guess the thing about it is it's just so not cool. Like there's nothing cool about it. Like it's not, and I don't think it's saying anything original. Yeah. And it's like Sam Worthington is an interesting choice because he's so uninteresting. Like it's to put that kind. I mean, James Cameron, weird guy. But speaking of weird movies, have you ever seen Blast from the Past?
No.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Brendan Fraser.
Fraser.
And I guess he's having his renaissance right now.
Yeah.
And I've always liked him.
Dude, I didn't realize he like had to get his like vocal cords replaced.
Whoa.
That's why he sounds like this now.
Too many whippets.
Yeah, he sounds like he's not breathing in.
He's inward singing like he's Tenacious D like, inward singing. I'm always fucking singing.
Oh, that hurts my throat. But yeah, like I was watching that interview of him like Adam Sandler.
Oh, he's like,
and he's just like, I really liked it. And I was like, why the fuck does he sound like that?
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and he had to get his vocal cords replaced.
Damn.
Poor guy went through a lot of shit.
Yeah, and
he was the last few years.
And he had like I mean, he's been in some movies I love. Do you ever see Airheads?
I fucking love Airheads.
That's a fucking slept on movie. Him, Buscemi, and Adam Sandler as the band.
Yes.
As a rock band. I want to see that fucking band anyway. That would be fucking sick.
What is it?
Is Dennis Miller
The Lone Rangers.
Oh.
Plural.
As an adult, I finally got that joke. That's like, as a kid, I just accepted it. But so this film is 1999. So like a real fun year for
Blast
like just
past.
Ideology, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's about a family that during the 60s, during the Cuban Missile Crisis or Bay of Pigs, Christopher Walken plays his dad. And he's like a paranoid dude. So he's been secretly making a fallout shelter.
Yes. No, okay, I've seen this movie. I've seen this fucking movie.
Okay,
dude,
so I watched it last night.
Yes. I think I watched it like in school.
You know, right? Probably. Okay, so when you watch a movie that like, and you probably wouldn't have been able to pick up on this because you were a child when you watched it. And this movie came out, I don't know, like 23 fucking years ago. Or 24 at this point. But the whole point is they're in a fallout shelter. He's raised in a fallout shelter. And then 30 years later, for some reason, like the hydraulic locks that Christopher Walken set open up.
Yeah.
And
then it never happened, right?
Yeah, like it never happened.
Yeah.
So he's been raised
never went off.
He's been raised in a fallout shelter. Okay, first weird thing this movie does. Brendan Fraser, his character is supposed to be 35. Which I think is a weird age. To make your character, but like I don't know why that struck me as like kind of weird. I was like 35, interesting. So this is the weirdest thing about him being 35. Brendan Fraser has, I guess, a 35-year-old guy's hairline in real life at that time.
Yeah.
Now he's bald. Yeah. But at the time, I assume he
looks like shit. God bless him.
I love the man.
God bless the guy. Well, I'm really glad he's having his renaissance.
Well, I think he also...
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. He looks terrible.
Well,
he looks awful.
I will say, we'll stand up for the man.
But like, fucking...
He had a really fucked up back problem.
I'll stand and fight for Brendan Fraser.
He had to get like multiple back surgeries. Like from the Mummy. Yeah. So I think he just can't really...
You can't do anything.
Like work out.
Well, he had like a hip problem, and like he's got a million problems.
Yeah. And his wife,
his fucking vocal cords.
Well, did you hear about it? The whole thing with his wife.
His wife like stole all his money.
He was making so much money during their divorce that it like in perpetuity set up like the amount that he had to pay her
Yeah.
every month or something, which was like crazy. And then at the same time,
over what he was getting paid.
Yeah, he was,
and then he stopped getting paid because he wasn't working.
Yeah, and he stopped working because he was kind of blackballed for coming out about being like sexually assaulted.
Yes.
So fucking, I'll let the man eat as many 7-Eleven pizzas as he fucking wants.
Yeah, no, he's earned the right, or not earned, but
Yeah.
nobody deserves any of what happened to him.
Yeah, but
he has the right.
Yeah, so
to look like shit now.
Yeah.
And still get work. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? It's like, yeah, hey.
And the funniest thing is in that new movie,
We
they're
love
like,
you.
this guy looks like shit.
Yeah.
Let's make him look even more like shit. And it's like, and that is acting.
Yeah.
But so I'm watching this movie and his hairline looks insane because they color in the top of his, like, I guess he had a receding hairline. So they
filled it in.
They filled it in with just
to make it like less receding.
No, to make it like just like, oh, he's got this like 50s like, like a black barbershop kind of like, it's that like, it's a strong line.
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks like he has like a Jamie Foxx haircut under his haircut. So he's got his like Brendan Fraser weird.
So they lined him up.
Yeah, they lined him up, and he's got this weird like pointy 35-year-old guy hair above the weird paint on his head. This is a big part of my life, is watching bad movies and explaining them.
I think it's a good little leeway into something I was reading about that took place in the 60s this week. It was I was reading a bunch about MK Ultra.
I know very little about this.
Oh, dude.
Please.
It's pretty sick. It's not sick.
Okay.
It's terrible, but it's pretty crazy.
What exactly is MK Ultra?
Okay, so
let's start there.
Okay, so Project MK Ultra was basically the CIA's like.
Real quick, is it stand for Mortal Kombat?
No,
Oh.
I don't know what it stands for.
Just wondering.
Mind control, but with a K.
Oh, because the K is sinister.
Yeah,
it's like kind of badass.
Yeah. Well, so basically, they thought that they could develop some sort of mind control using LSD.
Well, I see they've done LSD before.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, it started before the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
There was this shit called like the OSS or something like that, and it was just a bunch of rich dudes who had their own like spy program, operating completely independently of any government restriction or anything. And so at first it started with them. And I forgot what their code name for the project was, but basically they were trying to develop a truth serum using marijuana. So
there's something to that, though.
Yeah,
there actually might be some validity.
So
to
basically,
that.
they were trying to get this truth serum, and so they were making like concentrates back in like the 50s.
Dude.
This is like the 40s and the 50s, like, mind you. So like, not a lot of people are out there smoking weed like they are today.
Well, I think
but they were making like tinctures.
I think that people probably were fucking smoking weed.
People were smoking weed for sure.
They must have been.
People have been smoking weed forever. But not like they are now.
Well, now it's like
I smoke weed with my mom.
Yeah, now you
no
go,
one was doing that.
I mean, like you walk around any street and there's someone hitting a vape.
Yeah, someone's fucking smoking. Yeah,
it's kind of sick.
I was in an apartment building the other day, and some guy just got in the elevator with a blunt.
That's kind of tight.
And he was just like, "How you doing, man?" And I was like, "Good, I'm good." Yeah. And he's just like smoking this blunt, and I was like, "Can I? Is that just weed?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can I hit that?" And I took a little puff. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. Weed really brings people together.
So they made these concentrates.
So anyway, they were making tinctures, like THC tinctures. Yeah. And so they were just dosing people. And of course...
Which is not cool.
They were making extreme concentrates, though. Like, these were like, no fucking joke. Like, imagine if you bought a tincture and you just drank the whole thing. That was what a hit...
Don't tempt me.
That was what one dose of this shit was like, right? Ooh. So for someone who's never smoked weed before,
if you have zero tolerance,
it was probably a fucking nightmare, right? And they're like interrogating them and trying to do all this stuff. Eventually, the OSS gets broken up or whatever, and eventually, the CIA comes into existence or whatever, and so they start trying to develop this mind control serum thing, whatever. They get wind of this shit called LSD. So they start buying a bunch of LSD from Sandoz in, where was it? Like Switzerland or whatever. Switzerland, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Where Albert Hoffman invented LSD. And so the CIA was buying like fucking oil drums full of LSD. They spent so much fucking money on LSD in the 60s. It was insane. More LSD than anyone's ever. They were like, it was crazy.
That's sick. That's
so basically, they all started dosing each other and shit
as a goof.
Like as goofs, like so there would be like fucking holiday parties and shit where they would just whatever guy who's in charge of everyone would just like dose the punch without telling anybody. And then all of a sudden, like all these fucking CIA fucking spooks are just like dosed the fuck out on LSD.
They're like, you want to play Rocket League?
At a fucking work party.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. So shit like that. But there was this one specific guy though. I can't remember his name, but he was like a DEA dude. And so like he set up this whole operation. They're giving him a bunch of money basically to like, he had a government funded whorehouse. He opened up a whorehouse in San Francisco, but basically he went around town and found all these sex workers and was like, hey, I'll pay you a bunch of money if you go out and get these Johns from like these bars and like get drunk dudes to come back here. And basically he had them
dose these guys.
Dose those guys. Yeah, they would make them drinks and then dose them. And then he had this whole fucking setup where he had like two-way mirrors set up. And he would be in like
Kinky.
a little and he would be watching these guys like dosed out fucking. And
I forgot they're fucking.
Sitting,
oh my god.
Yeah. And
Holy
so,
shit.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
so,
god. Imagine experiencing acid for the first time mid pump.
Yeah. You just hits and you're like boning.
Yeah,
but
her ass turns into a
concentric
circle or something.
Golden ratio.
Yeah.
So he's like, this guy's like sitting in these fucking rooms and like in his diary wrote that he was like sitting on a little bucket with a toilet seat on it. And he would just sit in there and be pissing and shitting because he couldn't leave the room. And he would be in there drinking vodka martinis.
Wait, a question. Okay, this guy couldn't hold his shit in for a few hours.
I guess not. I don't know.
He's a big shitter.
It's like a 6-hour trip, you know. So
Dude,
he's like in there watching the whole time.
Okay.
Not really learning much.
Yeah, probably
You're
jerking
not
off.
learning a lot.
Do you think
he's
he was
just in there getting drunk?
Do you think he was jerking off?
Probably.
He must have been.
Probably.
This is all for his one kink.
Most likely.
This is just a kink of his.
But like, what the fuck are you gonna learn by dosing these guys and then just watching them fuck? Like, what did you learn to further the objective of mind control?
He's like,
this is a mind control experiment.
That's
like no, yeah, this is gonna be great. We're gonna fucking capture these Russian spies, dose them, and get fucking whatever we want out of them, and whatever, you know. But
and at any point,
obviously, it never worked as far as we know.
Did the women ever like were they ever prompted to like ask them questions to maybe get information out as like?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it's just like pretty crazy that the government, the U.S. government, was the biggest client of
do you think that
purchasing.
Do you think that the government
so much LSD
started Grateful Dead?
Probably.
That's
all that's
MK Ultra 3.
Well, I mean, then there's the whole thing with like the whole counterculture movement was also like a crazy psyop thing or whatever.
Really?
It was like Timothy Leary was like working with the CIA during this, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's like some link.
So are you telling me hippies
There's some link.
were made by the government
Yeah, dude.
to almost dissuade people from peace and love because it's so cringy?
Yeah. I think to
kinda
pull them away from like communism too and socialism, whatever. It was like this like free love movement.
Yeah.
But it was like really just getting everyone like so fucking like dumb and self-absorbed.
Yeah.
That they didn't really care about anything else, even though they thought they did.
Well, that's the greatest thing about hippies is that they actually are the worst.
Yeah.
they're
awful. But yeah, I mean, pretty much like the whole like counterculture movement, I think was
that's crazy.
CIA psyop. I mean, there's the whole thing with Charles Manson too.
What was that?
Was working for the CIA.
Really?
Yeah. or has links to the CIA. There's no like smoking gun evidence, but there's this really good book.
Well, I wonder why.
Yeah. There's this really good book called Chaos by this guy called Tom O'Neill. And he's like this journalist that just like it started with him like in the 80s or like 90s or something, getting assigned to write something for this magazine. It was like the 30th anniversary of the Manson murders. And they were like, hey, like, can you write something up for this, like 30th anniversary of the Manson murders, whatever, like big celebration, big deal. Yeah. It's very cool.
Big party.
We're having a big blowout.
Yeah, we're going to dose everybody.
Yeah. So it started with him being like, well, what the fuck am I going to write about this shit? Everything's been said about it already, you know? So he's like, this is kind of fucking lame. Like, I don't really want to write about this. So he's like trying to find his angle, you know, like what am I going to fucking write about or whatever. And like ends up talking to a bunch of people and like interviewing them or whatever. And then pretty much just like starts to see some kind of weird stuff, like puts a couple things together and is like, wait a minute, something's like off about the whole like helter skelter story narrative and everything. Right. So he starts like looking into it. A lot more people in Hollywood were like kicking it with Manson than they admit. Yeah. Because after everyone was like, no, I mean, like he was hanging out with like, you know, a couple of the Beach Boys or whatever, Mamas Mike and the Papas or whatever. Yeah. And so like,
is that his name? No, that's the guy who did White Lotus, I think.
But pretty much like anyone in like the Laurel Canyon scene and shit at that time kicked it with fucking Charlie Manson and knew him.
So it was like Joni
and
Mitchell.
Were buying drugs off of him. Like he was a popular guy, you know, like he was fucking hanging out with everyone.
He's the plug.
Yeah, but I mean, of course everyone denies it, but like he can pretty much be linked to anyone in that time. But so the whole thing is like, there was this fucking like CIA dude that was like hanging out with him all the time and like all this stuff. It's like, it's kind of hard to remember. There's a lot of like moving pieces to like the whole story. But basically, you're like, oh shit, like
this is all connected.
I think this was like a MK Ultra thing. You know what I mean? You're like, supposedly it ended and like,
what's they want mind? Is it like
bit.
So you said it's about mind control?
Yeah,
but it's also like I could see them being like, well, we don't know anything about controlling minds yet, but we know that like we can evoke fear in people. Yeah, and it seems like fear is generally used. Yeah, to like control people.
But so I think that's like kind of the whole thing. That was like Charlie Manson just dosing.
Oh,
you're
on a Charlie basis with him.
My buddy Charlie.
Charlie, rest in peace.
God bless his soul. Yeah, I mean, well, like he was like dosing a bunch of teenagers or whatever and getting them to do a bunch of weird shit for him, you know. Yeah. So like he kind of, I think he probably got that to the level that, you know, because this is not like a smart guy.
Yeah, I've heard his music. It's pretty bad.
You know what I mean? He's got a couple really good songs.
God, I knew you were going to like some of them.
There's those two songs that I really like. They're really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he's, you know.
Well, if you can listen to him, you can listen to fucking R. Kelly still. if society allows Charles Manson to be.
I don't know. There's a difference between like murdering a pregnant woman.
Well, there's a difference. I'm just saying, I guess you're right.
You know, pissing on a teenager.
Oh, dude, that's the least bad thing R. Kelly did.
And like having women locked in your basement.
Nah, like, you got it. Bingo, baby.
You know.
Yeah,
which Charlie Manson didn't murder anyone. Let's remember that.
He was innocent.
He's fucking has no blood on his hands, man. Yeah. It's all Tex Watson, man.
Dude, yeah, he did have a really nifty swastika on his forehead, though. It's like kind of
dude, no, he was on the Kanye shit before Kanye, dude.
He's a trendsetter.
It's an ancient symbol, man. You don't know?
Yeah, dude, I feel like he's a little guy who goes like this. That's his energy.
But, yeah, so I think like he probably took MK Ultra as far as anyone ever did, because like he was just,
he was
just an idiot that was like in and out of jail his whole life.
Well, it makes
more than half of his life was spent in prison.
Do you think that maybe the next baton carrier of MK Ultra might be James Cameron?
Yeah,
because it's like, why
Avatar's a psyop,
the fuck
dude.
Do people give a fuck about Avatar? It's so fucking lame. Like, you can almost bullshit yourself into thinking something's good. And I think that's bad. Mm-hmm. It's a bad human like ability to almost, you have a reaction and then you have to like somehow make sense of it. And in your attempt to make sense of it, you maybe give it more validity than it possibly has because you're trying to make sense of why you spent money in 3 hours of your fucking life.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
You know.
I tried to convince myself, I successfully convinced myself when I was a teenager that the show Weeds was good.
I think that first season's pretty good, if I remember correctly.
And the show Californication.
Now that one is, I know that's bad.
Try watching it. Okay, yeah. So like, I remember like watching.
Do you want to turn this into a Californication podcast?
Oh my
I'm
God,
super down.
dude.
I'll watch that shit again. I got nothing but time.
My first girlfriend in high school got me into Californication.
She was like, I love Hank Moody.
Yeah, she was like, Hank Moody, my God.
And he's got a weird like
Bukowski type character, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good show.
Now, what did you
watching
what
it
did you think was
recently.
good about it? Do you remember what you?
I don't know. Like I was like, he's so sick.
Because there's boobies in it.
I was like, there's titties
There's a lot of
all
boobies.
over the show,
Yeah.
and
It's a very titty forward show.
It was because I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
I was young, dumb, and full of cum.
And now you're just
was like this.
Now you're just
guy-
older, dumb, and
This
full of
guy
cum.
is top G, bro.
Yeah.
He's fucking. He's sucking. He's writing. He's drinking.
He's
I
hanging
was
out
like,
with,
I
like-
want to be just like this guy. I want to be a fucking stupid drunk.
That's
Who's
not honestly
also a writer
wait,
and
wait.
just fucks all the time.
Okay. With the way you're describing it right now,
It sounds badass.
it sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty sick.
But so I watched the show again and I forget that the first episode he fucks a 16-year-old.
Oh, and she punches him in the face, right?
Yeah, she punches him in the nose while they're boning, and then it's like the whole show she becomes like a character because
it's his
ex-wife's like new stepdaughter.
Stepdaughter, yeah.
Yeah, and so the whole time he's like trying to deal with the fact that he fucked a teenager.
I sold
Because
that
he can't
woman.
stop sticking his dick and everything.
Yeah,
Wait, can we address
okay,
something
yeah,
really
please,
quick that
please.
we were talking about last week?
Yeah, of course.
Look, guys, we're doing our best here.
Yeah.
All right. It's just the three of us, just me, Julian. David's over there.
Producer David.
And so right now these aren't being released in the most timely manner. The last episode of the podcast, we're praising Andrew Callaghan's movie.
Oh yeah.
And now we've learned some new things about him.
Good call.
By the time this comes out, it's going to be like a week or two later. But
Yeah.
I feel like we had to like touch back on that because we were just talking about like how we love that movie, and I still think it was great. You know, it's just a shame.
It's just a bummer
to hear things about him being a sex pest. It's like
Yeah. It's also just a weak ass move.
if you're having to like beg someone to fuck you, just don't.
Don't.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like
Not only is it
like-
coercion, it's also lame.
Yeah. I don't
not a good
know,
look.
but like, I hope that people learn something from this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I was like I don't know, 16 or 17, I learned that lesson,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, well, come on. And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Like she scared me,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, and thank God for that.
When I was 16, I was playing Halo 2.
Yeah.
We had different lives.
Yeah. And
Let's
I
just
learned,
say Cortana never said no.
and so, I was luckily I learned that lesson early,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's something that like not a lot of young men know. Hey man, like,
Well, there's two types.
that's not an okay thing to do, Like,
I'm sure there's more than two types of people who fuck.
yeah.
But there's that some people just are trying to come,
yeah.
and other people are trying to have a mutually beneficial to
Yeah,
both
exactly.
parties experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you suffer from begging women for sex, you might just want to learn how to jerk off.
Yeah, no, like here's the thing. If there's a kind lady who's nice enough to let you sleep in her house and trusts you enough,
And let's
To
not just
share
keep
her
it at
bed with
maybe
you.
it doesn't have to be women. Anyone.
anyone.
Yeah.
If anyone trusts you enough to share their bed with you, and they explicitly tell you before or during,
I don't want to do
I'm
this.
not trying to fuck you,
Yeah.
and you're so fucking horny, go to the bathroom, lock the door, and fucking jerk off.
Yeah. What do you?
And then you're not going to be horny anymore. And then you don't have to subject someone to that.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
It's so easy. It's
It
like,
really is.
just go fucking cum in the toilet and you're done, dude. It's like, what?
Well, I feel like that's they never really teach you that in sex ed. That there should be like, they take all the guys aside.
Yeah.
And they go, and women, and be like, hey, you're feeling like a sexual fucking psychopath? Masturbate.
Yeah.
And then come back to the situation.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the sexual equivalent of like, you don't want to go to a supermarket hungry.
Yeah.
Because then you spend too much money. You buy a lot of snacks you don't need. You get canceled after your movie comes out on HBO. That's the worst. The thing that makes me so sad about it is like, I don't know if sad's the right term. It's just like, now we gotta hear everyone involved in it be like, we didn't know. It's like, yeah, of course, you know, I don't know. It's just the fallout of like, just such a weird, like, it's just pathetic. It's a weird, pathetic move to. Also, like I was looking up like, because it wasn't isolated, how he used the same line a bunch, which was, I had a falling out with my crew. I need a place to stay.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, can't you just be like, hey, I'm in town. You want to get some drinks and like see where it goes?
Yeah, that's
like,
see,
like
that's
a
weird.
fucking
It's
normal
like,
person.
yeah, it's like you don't ask someone on a date.
Yeah, that's the
Like
thing.
it's got to be like, yeah, I'm like so down in the dumps right now.
Yeah,
like,
I'm so depressed.
Don't you feel so sorry for me?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like that's how you're getting your fucking. That's how you're getting laid.
Well, that's the thing. You're not gonna pity sex.
Ew.
You don't want to have pity sex.
Yeah, dude.
Or weird coerced pity sex.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the worst types of sex
it being
out
a pity thing. Now you're coercing, like, oh god, like learn some game.
Yeah. Do you think these? Is this like you think these guys are
watch Hitch or something?
You know, I did watch Hitch recently, and we'll talk about that probably on another episode because you don't get me started on a dumb movie from a bygone era,
dude. Like it's like when you're in that level of like you're the biggest journalist in the world right now. You can't just like ask someone on date. You're too scared.
He's able to talk to Alex Jones and ask him hard hitting questions, but he can't text a woman like a normal person.
Hey, you want to grab a drink? Yeah, and be like,
yeah. You just have to be like, hey, I'm in town. Like, yeah, just be normal. Yeah. But the weirdest thing about this guy's an investigative journalist, right? Or I don't know, whatever you'd call him. But in that movie, there's that one guy who they knew was a pedophile from the beginning, and then he's like, oh, we have your record, like we know you're a pedophile, and you saying that all this, like Joe Biden's a pedophile, yada yada yada.
The table's turned on him there.
But it's like, so this guy knows that the internet exists, and that you can't hide from your nefarious actions, and he's putting this in his own movie.
And then it happens to him a week later.
Yeah, he still does it all the time. But like wouldn't he know that, like, bro, like these are people that you begged for sex.
Yeah, I guess not, I mean, I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Weird shit.
Like, so if you're trying to let's say like if you're trying to watch a documentary about the state of things, it's probably better to watch the documentary I watched about Nickelodeon the other day.
Oh, yeah. Dan Schneider.
Oh, no. Is he bad too? Oh,
wait,
man.
What?
No, I was watching one just about like the woman who ran Nickelodeon. She's this genius who she was the first person to be like, kids deserve.
Wait. You don't know that Dan Schneider is? You don't know Dan Schneider?
Was Dan Schneider the guy in Good Burger who plays like the manager, like the one adult?
Oh, I think so. And there's like all these photos of him like making like fucking Miranda Cosgrove like sit in his lap.
Is he
and, like,
dead or in
photos.
jail?
No, dude. So there was like this big lawsuit. They decided to sue him for being a pedophile. And there was this whole thing and he worked out a deal where what do they call that?
He's
when they pay you to shut up.
He's not allowed to go near a kid's Foot Locker.
Yeah, no, he's not
at all.
allowed near the JCPenney kids section.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
He's not allowed near a school or anything. But no, so basically what happened was, because he was such a big stakeholder and part of Nickelodeon, basically what happened was he was like, okay, I'll leave Nickelodeon if you pay me a shit ton of money and you shut the fuck up about this, never bring it up again.
Yeah, they did not talk about this in
so
the documentary.
everyone got hushed. Everyone got hush money or whatever. And he just got a bunch of money, shit ton of money, doesn't work for Nickelodeon anymore, doesn't have to work ever again. And nothing happens to him for being a fucking pedophile making children's TV.
Yowza.
Yeah, so that's Dan Schneider for you.
Ugh.
And
Ugh.
yeah.
Cool guy.
But those kids were stars, man. Those kids were all good.
Yeah.
Amanda Bynes.
It makes sense because Kel
was so good.
Dude, Kel, after Keenan and Kel, he I think he was in Mystery Men. I can't tell. Maybe it's not Dan Schneider's fault for Kel because I think he didn't really blow up like he wanted to after Mystery Men.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a pastor now at a church that's like 4 blocks away from where I live now.
Dude, you should
trying
go.
to see Kel?
Yeah, we should go.
Dude.
We should go interview him.
I'm not
we
usually.
should get him on the show. We should go a couple Sundays.
I'm usually not down for a sermon in general, but
I mean, me neither.
But
I don't want to go to church unless Kel's going to be there.
Dude, if Kel's at church,
we can bring him some orange soda.
Do you? Well, that's the thing. How how many minutes do you get into the Kel sermon where you're like, oh, he's not Kel, he's a fucking,
he's a pastor.
He's a pastor now, and I gotta say though, if I'm gonna, I prefer a pastor over a priest.
Yeah.
Right? Because pastors are allowed to get married and
they're not diddling kids. Either.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure some are. I'm pretty, I'm just going to go out there.
Okay, but probably not as much as the priests, right?
I would say definitely not as much as the priests.
Yeah.
You know what I've wondered? Do you think nuns are pedophiles too?
I don't know.
Or are they more damaged than priests? Are priests, I feel like nuns maybe come from a damaged background.
Yeah.
And priests are just
they're just weird.
They're just weird guys who
yeah.
Priests are weird. I've never met a priest that I was like, I want to hang out with this guy. I was at a wedding, and there was a Catholic wedding, and the priest was... He was pretty entertaining. I will give him that. He was the most entertaining priest I've ever seen. But I remember after just thinking about this fucking loser's life. What a dumb fucking way to spend your life. No, actually offense. I do mean offense.
Yeah.
I think being a priest is really fucking stupid.
Boring.
And a waste of your time on this planet. Well, it's not even that you can't fuck. It's you gotta read the same fucking book.
And you can't fuck.
Well, no, I think the concept is they are fucking. They're
fucking God through the Bible.
Yeah, they're fucking God through. Is that how it works?
Getting fingered by God.
Dude, I'd let God finger me.
In the pews.
Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know if I'd let God finger me. Yeah, it's...
Probably wouldn't be pleasant.
You don't think God wants me to...
sadistic fuck,
You don't think God wants me to, get off?
She is a sadistic fuck.
Do you think God's going to coerce me? Come on, Julian.
She's got long acrylic fingernails.
Oh, that's kind of hot.
She's going to be fingering you.
I don't know. I'm feeling, maybe I'm more religious than I thought.
Yeah.
If being religious meant you get to fuck God, I would maybe try it. Never fucked God before.
It's probably pretty sick, yeah.
Do you think that
Who's gonna know how to fuck better than God?
Okay, you know how there's a Reddit for everything?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a Reddit for priests?
r/priest.
r/fucking
Definitely.
loser. Fucking dorks.
Ugh, I don't even want to know what. Ugh.
Yeah,
what goes on that subreddit?
Dude, it's not good. They're on 4chan, let's be real. They're on one of those Q forums. They're on they have a Discord now.
You ever go on the drug subreddits?
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
They're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I was on the nitrous one the other day.
Oh.
It's dark. It's a dark place.
I bet.
Everyone's full Steve-O over there. It's photos and videos of their apartments just full of nitrous shells. And I'm just Man, you need a better hobby than this.
Isn't part of you a little jealous?
Huh?
A little envious of them?
Sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit.
I actually just bought a pack of whippets. I'm
Nice.
gonna do after this.
Well, maybe we'll
If you
do
want-
it.
if you want a
Should we do
couple.
whippets on camera? Is that
Yeah.
Is that like is that allowed?
It's not illegal.
Well,
I don't think.
Well,
You
real-
can just buy them at the store.
real quick. I was looking.
Should I go run and get some real quick? We can outro the show with our like.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'll be right back.
Well, I can tell you the history of whippets. They were discovered in the late 1700s, early 1800s.
Yeah, dude, like medieval whippets.
Well, medieval? No, no. By French chemists, and it became a. Ooh, yeah. It became a what's it called? Laughing gas parties.
Yeah.
So like it was a way like in
You seen like the old drawings?
Yeah, the
like
old-
from
there's-
the like textbooks and
yeah,
stuff.
Dave, you're gonna have to throw up some of those drawings. They're pretty crazy. And as a Frenchman, like, do you take umbrage in that?
Dude, that was your people.
Okay.
we'll have to do a
But
little
they would
cheers
use
there.
them. It was like a way for like they'd have parties with it, but it was prescribed for hysteria. It was prescribed for hysteria in women in the
combat?
1800s. Yes.
To combat hysteria?
Yeah, to combat
I feel like
the
it
hysteria.
makes me hysterical doing
Well,
this.
no, it's great. Yeah, we're gonna see.
You know they administer nitrous to women giving birth, like in like Norway and shit.
Dude, I want to give birth.
Yeah.
Let's give birth right now.
Okay.
Well,
Cheers.
if we don't see you after these, cheers.
Oh my god. Yeah. That's crazy.
Why do birds
Suddenly appear
every time
you are near.
Oh no, we should have done Righteous Brothers.
Just
No,
like
wait.
me.
Oh my darling,
they long to be.
I can't get enough of your love, babe.
I don't know any how the rest
Yeah,
of
we
that song
didn't. I don't
goes.
think anyone does. You know, it's funny. There's another song.
I
Like
don't know why.
Oh, you do.
Can't get enough of your love.
babe.
That's okay. That's what my extent
Okay.
of my
Do you know
knowledge
any
is.
other part of the song? I just died in your arms tonight.
I just died in your arms tonight. Must have been something.
Okay, after that part, what happens?
Is
that happen?
some shit?
No.
Is it going like a guitar lick?
I don't think so. Hey,
Hey,
sweet talk, man.
sweet talk, man. And we'll see you next week.
Oh, if you want us to turn this whole thing into a Californication, you know, I mean, honestly,
don't.
wait, just hear me out. We
Please
could
don't
just turn
ask
this
me to
whole
do that.
podcast in like, we just watch horrible series of television until we can't. Like, you know, like we reach a level, like we lasted half a season. You know what I mean? Like whenever we're watching, like whenever you feel nauseous when you watch it, we call it.
It could be good.
We can think about that. What
Be
do you
good for a
think?
segment.
Yeah.
I do that for a
I'll
segment.
do it for a segment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
All right.
Matches.